What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Dog Pound. It is episode 6, and we have another great show in store for you today. My name is Ben Heisler, and I am joined by two great guests here on the program, joined by Brian Willis, Nathaniel Lami. Gentlemen, what's going on? How you guys doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having us this morning.
That's an absolute pleasure. I'm glad you guys are here. And to start with you both, how'd you end up in Fayetteville this summer?
Well, for me, it was just the opportunity to come back and play for Skip. I mean, he's a guy that you can really learn a lot from the game and everything like that. So an opportunity to play in front of home, family and friends, so it's definitely a great opportunity for me.
And you're a local kid as well, so the connection went by pretty easy. But what about for you, Nathaniel? How'd you hear about him in South Alabama?
My hitting coach at school, he actually played for Skip in Northwoods League.
Okay.
And that was about 10 years ago, and I guess they stayed in touch. So our coach talked to Skip and got me up here.
So you guys are coming from very different perspectives. This is your first year with the SwampDogs, and Brian, this is actually your second. Last year you were rehabbing, now you're back, you're throwing real well. Talk about the similarities and sort of contrasts of pitching with the team now versus 2 years ago.
Well, the competition is always going to be there. Probably 2 summers ago, we had a lot of older guys, more mature, been in the league a while, so it was a little bit different. We got a lot of young guys, guys that ain't played in the CPL before, so it's a transition because everybody's getting used to each other, how things work in summer ball. But competition in the game stays the same. So
on a personal level, has anything changed in your pitching style from 2 years ago to this year after the rehab?
Just learning how to pitch more. Freshman year I threw the ball a little bit harder, so it was more of me just going out with a fastball and, hey, go get them. Now I gotta locate more. Secondary pitches got to be there a little bit more. So just whole mentality about how to pitch better and how to locate.
Now, Nathaniel, you're at South Alabama, and Brian, you're at UNC Pembroke, and I'm interested to hear from both of you guys. And Nathaniel, I'll start with you. Pitching in college ball versus pitching in the CPL. Or I'm sorry, you're a hitter. My mistake. Batting, playing the game in the CPL versus at South Alabama, and then for you, Brian, pitching in the CPL. How does that compare to school? And then, now I'll start with you.
It's pretty similar. We at South Alabama we play tons of great competition. We played top 25 teams, Vanderbilt, Alabama, Baylor, and saw great pitching there. But there's great competition up here too. It's competitive every night.
What about you, Brian?
Well, pitching with a wood bat, you just got to go get them more. You got to be a little bit more fine around the plate and everything with aluminum bat because they give a little bit more. But the competition is, if not better, the same. But it's the same thing.
And Nathaniel, you're coming from Fairhope, Alabama. It's not just you, but your teammate Michael Raya. Tell us a little bit about your hometown, what it's like to grow up there and play out in South Alabama.
It's a small town, great community. Live on the bay, about 45 minutes from the beach. So in high school, we go to the beach a lot in high school on just a daily basis almost, and really enjoyed growing up there.
So from a far perspective to a near perspective, Brian, you grew up in Hope Mills, so you're very familiar with the area. So what's it been like for you to come to the ballpark, play for the SwampDogs now in your second year, and having the hometown fans and your hometown friends and family be there to support you whenever you pitch?
Oh, it's great. I have a family that normally don't get out to my school games, so it's closer. My grandma would come, and my uncle and all of them. So it's a little bit better to have all the people just a 5-10 minute drive from the stadium and being able to see me pitch.
Sure. Now, one of the things that I really like doing here on the show is finding out a little bit more about you guys as far as baseball, when it became a part of your life growing up. So what were your best positions when you guys were growing up? A lot of times pitchers don't become pitchers until later. Outfielders start from one place, end up in another. What position did you guys play growing up?
Well, yeah, pitching definitely wasn't a first thing for
really?
me. I started out at shortstop. I was, one of the best athletes, so I started out at shortstop, and then I went to catcher. I was a really good catcher, and that's what I loved to do until probably about my sophomore year in high school. My coach was like, "Hey, you got a good arm, so you want to use you on the mound." So.
You ever miss catching at all?
Always. Love catching.
So you could be the third catcher if Skirvin's got the flu one day and Whiteman does something to his arm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go tell Skip after this that I want to catch. So.
Well, we can show him the video. We got it right down and ready. What about you, Nathaniel? What position did you play growing up that you were always really good at?
Growing up, I actually played a lot of infield. Played shortstop, second base, all the way up through my sophomore year in high school. my junior year, I started playing outfield, and I played ever since.
Now, when did you guys figure out that baseball was something that was going to become more than just a game for you guys, something that was going to become an active part of your life?
For me, it was probably junior year. Started pitching really well, getting some attention by the local paper and
junior
stuff like that.
Junior year of college or high school?
High school.
Okay.
And that I was like, I might have a shot and go play college ball, and never know what can happen down the road after that. So it's probably about in junior year I started really getting into baseball and really getting after it.
When did it sort of come that way for you, Nathaniel?
Just when high school started. I just loved being out there every day. I'd come to practice every day and work hard and try to get to the next level. And from here, I'm going to continue to work hard and hopefully get drafted one day.
Now, this is my favorite question to ask you guys because I love hearing about the people that you enjoyed watching growing up. So I'm curious, not the best positions, but favorite team, favorite player, and I guess in your case, Brian, whose pitching stance did you copy, and Nathaniel, whose hitting stance did you copy when you guys were kids?
For me, I've always been an Atlanta Braves fan. They're closest to Fayetteville as far as pro baseball teams. Mm-hmm. And I grew up, when they were kind of good, '95 World Series
Sure.
and stuff like that. I'm a big Greg Maddux fan. Always was. Love the way he pitches.
He was a Cub too.
Yeah, but we won't go there. but yeah, Braves were big. I was a big fan of the Braves. So, and. As far as pitching stance, never really imitated anybody, but loved the way Fernando Valenzuela
That's a classic.
Yeah, I love the way
Willis is going old school. Yeah,
just the way he stared down at you and stuff like that, but never really imitated anybody. Came up with my own stuff.
All right, Nathaniel, favorite team and the favorite stance that you had growing up?
My favorite team was the Braves too. Growing up, Alabama's pretty close to Atlanta, where I'm from, about a 5-hour drive. Mm-hmm. So I got a lot of Braves game growing up, and favorite player was probably King Griffey Jr. I'd imitate his stance.
Best swing in baseball.
Yeah, I guess everybody just loved him growing up. So.
Even though you were right, you tried to do the wiggle the bat from the right
I tried
side.
to do it. So he was always my favorite player growing up. Just all the great plays he made in the outfield, and just loved watching him play. All
right, one last question before we head to break. With Father's Day coming up, obviously, at least my father for me has always been a great part of how I got into sports, and I went to my first baseball game with my dad. What's the first memory for you guys of ever going to a sporting event in your lifetime? Nathaniel, I'll start with you.
Growing up in Alabama, I was a big football fan, big Auburn football fan. And I just remember going to Auburn football games when I was a kid and just having a good old time. And also going to Braves baseball games was a first memory of mine.
What about you,
Carolina football and basketball. Me and my dad's always been. We get season tickets every year, and it's just an exciting thing to just me and my dad just go out there and have a good time.
All right, we got plenty more to come with Nathaniel Lami and Brian Willis as we take a quick break. This is Inside the Dog Pound right here on Time Warner Cable.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs?
Reduce, reuse, recycle, the 3 R's of living green. Living green also means rechargeable, as in rechargeable batteries. They're the power in your power tools, cell phones and cordless phones, camcorders, and other portable electronics. When they won't hold a charge anymore, old rechargeable batteries must be recycled. Visit calltorecycle.org or call toll-free to learn more. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. And remember, if it's rechargeable, it's recyclable.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs?
All right, everybody, we are back. It's Inside the Dog Pound right here on Time Warner Cable. Ben Heisler joined by SwampDogs pitcher Brian Willis and left fielder and center fielder Nathaniel Lami. And guys, let's talk a little bit about the season to this point. I think I'm convinced that you only like winning close games, with the exception of the other day. Every game that you guys have won this year has either been by 1 or 2 runs. Is there something about just being in a very close